If there's one thing you don't see on best of the year lists enough, it's animation. Whether they're the shorts that play before the movie or their feature length, it becomes more rare as time goes by to see that many of them crack someone's honorable mentions. Which is why I want to do a top 10 list that emphasizes the best movies that are literally moving pictures. Normally with a best of list I have some honorable mentions to start off with, but because 2024 was the year that it was for cinema, this was the easiest best of list I've ever narrowed down. So without delaying anything, let's kick things off with number 10. I know I said in my short review that Sonic 3 was the best and worst of the trilogy because it does move at such a ridiculously fast pace that entire scenes and subplots are noticeably trimmed down to the point where it just felt rushed and missing quite a bit of context to the story. But at the same time, they did trim out the annoying human characters, putting more emphasis on Team Sonic, Jim Carrey giving 2 hilarious performances, and Keanu Reeves being a really cool anti-hero in Shadow. The animation and action have more of an anime style to them that even in the briefest of fights are on such a massive scale that it's just awesome to watch on the big screen. And overall, it's the exact mindless fun that you would expect from Sonic. Robot Dreams has a few too many repetitive dream sequences that drag the pacing down, but the movie itself is still an equally funny yet tragic silent movie about the importance of friendship and the consequences that come from loneliness. In a short amount of time with no dialogue whatsoever, you instantly feel the connection between dog and robot, despite the fact that the two of them spend the majority of the movie apart, and you legit want to see them reunite. But you can also enjoy both of them individually as they struggle to decide whether to wait for each other or move on and find someone else. Plus, the movie's animal version of 80s New York, where an octopus can use all its tentacles to drum in a subway, or the countless background references to video games and music of the era, was just such a cool universe to see. I kind of understand the mixed reactions that If got. It does have some schmaltzy or annoyingly childish moments, especially from Steve Carell, and it took me a while to actually get invested, but once John Krasinski finds his footing, in my opinion, he made a much more wholesome family flick than we get recently, where it encourages kids and adults alike to use their imagination in everyday life while giving simple yet true reasons why people grow cynical as they become older. The visual storytelling of seeing imaginary friends reunite with their former masters was some of the most infectiously charming scenes I've seen in any movie this year, and for all the cheap and manipulative moments in this, the best parts were just too hard to ignore. I know this may seem like a cheat because it's only 4 minutes long, but keep in mind that there are 90-minute to 2-hour movies this year that were less entertaining for longer periods of time, so fuck it, I'm putting it on the list. D.I.Y. Duck is a loving tribute to the original Ducky Nash cartoons that understands what made Donald so funny in the first place. Not just his angry outbursts, but the painstaking, stubborn attempts that he makes in order to get what he wants before he fails, the rapid timing of the animation, and creative slapstick with so many funny scenarios of seeing himself get hurt. The fact they reused old audio of Ducky Nash literally speaks volumes to how authentic it is, literally in spirit to the original shorts. And it begs the question, why didn't they put this in front of Inside Out 2? With The Wild Robot, Dreamworks once again takes a story we've seen before, but with a darker sense of humor for a kids movie, a charming cast from Lupita Nyong'o, Pedro Pascal, Catherine O'Hara, and even Bill Nye among others, and a gorgeous blend of 2D, 3D drawing styles that lovingly pay tribute to Studio Ghibli in its beautiful portrayal of nature, make it feel so fresh and entertaining to watch. And while I still think there are multiple points where you could have ended this on a more mature, somber note than the sequel-baited climax we got, I was still smiling so wide throughout this movie that it's still hard not to recommend. This post-apocalyptic version of Homeward Bound is a textbook example of how to make micro-budget animation look just as, if not more massive in scope than most modern live-action epics, and accomplishes the difficult task of telling an entire story through facial expressions, body language of animals, and musical score over dialogue, narration, or subtitles. The characters all serve a purpose to the story with legit flaws to overcome, which makes the team dynamic as they struggle to survive all the more infectiously cute to watch. Memoir of a Snail's incredibly tragic tone and story may not be the most rewatchable movie of the year, but the beautifully grim stop motion, terrific performances from Sarah Snook, Cody Smith-McPhee, Jackie Weaver, and director Adam Elliott's uncompromising subject matter where you never know for sure whether to laugh, cry, or both, make the most brown scale of depressing images so bright, vibrant, colorful, and hopeful to watch. No matter how many hardships Grace goes through, she reluctantly keeps her chin up, pushes through, and makes the best out of every major life event, leading to one of the best endings of the year that I just couldn't fight back the tears. The rare movie where the style is the substance, Kensuke's Kingdom, much like Flow, relies on visual storytelling and music in order to tell a simple yet emotional survival story. And even though it has an advantage over Flow with some dialogue and fewer characters to focus on, it has similar strengths like clever world building into how Kensuke operates the island or coexists with the wildlife. And the movie subtly examines the things Michael and Kensuke have in common in terms of their troubled past, how it leads to them overcoming a language barrier and growing a genuine friendship. Again, I know this is short even by most animated short standards, but because I fell back in love with Over the Garden Wall this past Halloween, and in my opinion, this short is just as, if not more entertaining than certain episodes, I'm counting it. This short wisely uses its runtime to insert so many callbacks to the show and original pilot without ever being rushed or forced in. The wooden stop-motion puppets and sets perfectly capture Garden Wall's autumn atmosphere that's enchanting yet creepy at the same time. The Blasting Company score is just as amazing as ever, and whether it's new material or, in Greg's case, old outtakes, hearing word Greg and Beatrice bounce off each other again was such a delight. Elijah Wood in particular is given such insightful and funny material that easily ranks with some of Wirt's best moments. Inside Out 2 was exactly what I was expecting from the first one. The emotions operate as a team, with everyone, except Fear and Disgust, they're still completely pointless, are equally given funny and serious moments contributing to Riley's emotional state, while still introducing brand new characters like Anxiety, Envy, and Bluefy, who make just as much an impression. Riley herself feels less a robot controlled by the emotions, more her own person, and even at her worst behavior, you can sympathize with every bit of pressure she's experiencing. And speaking of pressure, this can turn from a typical Pixar comedy to a teen drama, right down to a Safdie brothers thriller at the turn of a dime, making your heart race just as much as Riley's. And for all of those reasons, Inside Out 2 is easily the best animated movie I've seen all year. And with that, guys, thanks as always for watching. Let me know in the comments below, what are your favorite animated movies of 2024? Whatever they are, be sure to like and subscribe, check me out on Patreon and buy me a coffee, and stay tuned in the new year for more reviews. Take care.